Because the finding and the gathering of leaders is not easy. In fact, let me share with you, 2 or 3 reasons why it's difficult to develop and to attract leaders to you. Number 1, leaders are hard to find. They're hard to find. If Malaysia is anything like anywhere else I've ever been, Malaysia has a lot more followers than they do leaders. Is that not true? I've never gone to a company. And they said, John, you really, please come to our company immediately. We need to talk to you. And I've never rushed into a company where they've sat down and said, we have a problem. What's your problem? We have too many great leaders in this organization. Oh my goodness, we just have leaders everywhere. Can you thin some of them out for us? I've never known a nation that had too many great leaders. I've never known a company that had too many great leaders. I've never known an organization that had too many great leaders. There's always a shortage of leaders. Why? Because there aren't very many leaders. They're hard to find. There are 100 followers that you can find for every leader. In the States, what we share with them is, I say, eagles are hard to find because eagles don't flock. You just don't look up in the sky and say, oh my goodness, there are thousands of eagles up there. Look, just eagles everywhere you turn, another eagle. Oh my, I went down to the park and the park was filled with eagles today. Pigeons flock. Somebody told me one time, they said, John, I can't believe what you say. I say, you'd be more impressed if you knew what I didn't say. Eagles don't flock. They're hard to find. You have to find a leader one at a time. When I fly into do conferences, a lot of times the people who are picking me up at the airport, they don't know me. They've maybe never heard me or never seen me, maybe never heard of me. But they have the assignment of picking me up at the airport. And what I've noticed is there's 2 kinds of people that pick me up at the airport. One kind of person picks me up at the airport, what they do is they stand outside of the security area, wherever it is, and they've got a big card, and on it they put my name, like John Maxwell. And so maybe they're talking to a friend, but they're standing out somewhere, and they've got they got this card in the area, and they're basically saying, get off the plane, get through security, look at the card, read it, come over and introduce yourself, and I'll take you where you need to go. Basically, they put all the responsibility of me finding them on my shoulders. That's okay. Most of the time, I go up to them, introduce myself. Once in a while, I want to have fun. I just walk right on by. Take a taxi to my hotel and scare them. And when they find me, I say, hi, my name's John. I'm your friend. Well, one person, they put my name on it, and they basically say, find me, find me. Now, the other kind of person, what they do, they're different. What they do is when they have to pick me up at the airport, what they do is they get one of my books, and they go back to the back of the book where my picture is. Hopefully it's one of my newer books. and so what they're doing is they're standing by the security area, and they got my picture in front of them, and they're going like this. And then they go, you're John Maxwell. Well, yes, I am. How do you know? Well, I've got a picture of you. Now, you see, when I say that you have to develop a leadership team, there's one of 2 ways that you can do it. First of all, you can do like most people do, put advertisements and ads and things like that, and they basically stick up a sign and say, looking for leaders. I've been standing all day and haven't found any yet. Or you can say, oh, no. If I'm going to develop a leadership team, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a picture of what a leader looks like. Oh, my goodness. Oh, there's a leader. You see, The reason we miss opportunity, we all miss opportunity, do we not? How many of you have missed opportunity at least one time in your life? Sure, thank you very much. You make me feel comfortable. Now, the reason that you and I miss opportunity, you know what? Do you know why we miss opportunity? We miss opportunity because we don't know what it looks like when it's coming to us. It passes us, we go, oh, I should have done that. I should have done that. I knew better. You see, we didn't have a picture of what it looked like when it was coming. So therefore, we miss it. Can I tell you something? If you don't have a picture of what a leader looks like, they'll pass you all the time. There'll be leaders all around you. Can I tell you something? You can be in a room with leaders and not even know it. So when I tell people to develop a leadership team, in fact, they'll come to me lots of times and they'll say, John, they'll say, I want to develop a team of leaders. I'll say, oh, great. And they'll say, can you help me? I said, well, I'll be glad to help you. I say, first of all, what are you looking for? Well, I'm looking for leaders. Leaders. And, well, yeah, leaders. That's what I need leaders. That's what I am looking for leaders. Dead people or alive people? Let me do my best to draw for you maybe 4 or 5 pictures of what a leader looks like so that you know what they look like when they come. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be able to do a lot of it, but let me tell you something. If this is something, if you're trying to develop a leadership team, there's a book, the best book that you can get out of all those books is the book on the 21 qualities of a leader. The 21 qualities of a leader is 21 pictures. It's a photo album. It's 21 pictures of what a leader looks like. And you literally can go through that 21 qualities of a leader and write them on a piece of paper and study them so that when you interview people, you can check off of the 21 qualities how many they possess so you know what kind of a leader potential that you're getting. So that's the best book as far as developing a leadership team. Okay, now, so it's a photo album, it's a picture album. Now, let me give you 4 or 5 pictures of what a leader looks like. And the first one I'm going to give you is the most important. This one, I guarantee you, is found in every leader that you will ever bring on your team. Here we go. Number 1, leaders have the ability to make things happen. You say, John, what do you mean they have the ability to make things happen? Very simple. It's very simple. No matter what job you give them, no matter what task they have, they always do it and do it well, and they always bring it home. There are some people in life that they know what happened. There are some people that don't know what happened. Do you know what I'm talking about? Are there not some people you can give them a job and you don't even need to worry about it. You know they'll bring it home. They'll get it done. Isn't that true? Aren't there other people you give them a job and you have to keep watching and asking and following up and making sure it gets done and sending out emails and memos because you know they don't have the ability to bring it home. Are you with me? So when you're looking for a leader, Jack Welch calls it getting out of the pile. What he basically says is in any company, in any organization, there's a pile of people, and the people that get out of the pile and distinguish themselves are the people that have the ability to get the job done. In other words, they can bring it home. Now, here's why that's important as a leader. If you can't deliver the goods, if you can't bring it home for yourself, you'll never be able to bring it home for anyone else. In other words, you can't transfer what you don't have. So therefore, if you can bring it home yourself, then there's potential you can help others bring it home also. But if you can't deliver the goods yourself, there's no shot at you ever being able to teach and train others how to deliver the goods. And here's why. We teach what we know, but we reproduce what we are. And so therefore, I can't reproduce other leaders. I can't reproduce other producers unless I can produce myself. So when I'm looking for a leader, the first thing I'm looking for is, do I have somebody on my team that they absolutely have the ability that when you give them a job, they not only get the job done, but they do it with excellence. They not only get it done on time, but they get it done before time. They always do more than you ever expected. They always bring it home. They are totally dependable. They are totally trustworthy. And basically, whatever you give them, you can let it go mentally because you know they're going to bring it back to you. In fact, when they bring it back to you, they're going to bring it back to you better than what you gave it to them yourself. That's the first quality I look for. In 25 years, I've only had 2 assistants. When I speak of assistants now, I'm talking about people who literally run my life. My assistant, Linda, now was mentored by my first assistant, who was Barbara. And when I say they run my life, I say they run my life. And you say, what do you mean they run your life? They do everything. I mean, they do my travel schedule. They do my family, my wife, Margaret, and I. They do all my travel schedule. They do all my banking. They do all my financial stuff. They do everything. You're listening today to a guy who does very little. And is proud of it. In fact, people all the time, they say, well, I'm so busy. I just have so many things to do. And I say, well, I don't have that problem because I can only do 4 things. And see, when you're worthless in most areas, it's just wonderful because people don't want you. You know what I'm saying? They'll say, when they say, we want you to be on our board. I said, no, you don't want me to be on your board. I'm a terrible board member. I go to sleep during board meetings and I ask stupid questions and I'm just a terrible board member. And then they don't let you on the board. And then that frees you up. Are you with me? So you say, I only do 4 things. And my assistants, they do everything. They do everything. I mean, on this trip, I never did it. I mean, I basically said, these are the countries I'm going to. They sat down, worked out my time schedule, figured out the hotels, figured out all the things. I mean, I got emails from my assistant, Linda, today, and she on a couple things because I have to meet the Prime Minister tomorrow in Thailand. They had to change some of my schedule. She handled it all. I haven't talked to anybody. I don't do it. They just every day get me up and wake me up and give me breakfast. And then point me in a certain direction and say, don't come home until you've done these 4 things. Well, when I was training my first assistant, Barbara, I was in the office with her one day, and I said, Barbara, I need the phone number. And I gave her the name of a person I needed a phone number that I didn't have the phone number with. And probably, I don't know, just a couple of minutes later, she came in, and she said, I can't find the phone number. And I said, you couldn't find it? She said, no, I couldn't find it. I said, well, I'll tell you what, Barbara. Grab a chair and pull up right beside me here at the desk and sit here with me for a moment. So she did, and she said, what are you going to do? And I said, well, I'm going to find the phone number. Obviously, you couldn't, so I will. So for the next 45 minutes, I called everybody I know, just kept working, you know how you do, keep doing it, and finally I got the number. 45 minutes later, I got the phone number, so I put the person's name down, and I wrote the phone number, and I handed it to her. I said, now, Barbara, go back in your office, then come into the office and say, John, I've got the phone number. And then I looked at her and I said, Barbara, never again, when I ask you to do something, come to me without delivering it. It's a requirement. If you're going to be in my inner circle, I don't accept excuses. I don't accept anything except bring home the goods. What Barbara would tell you is that day her life was changed. She realized that she was going to work not for somebody, because nobody works for me. They work with me. We're all partners. But she realized that day I accept nothing but deliver every time. I deliver every time. Expect you to deliver every time. Because if you can bring it home for yourself, then you can train others to bring it home. What I have discovered is those who can't reproduce other people who can't, until you have a whole bunch of people who can't. And then you wonder why you're not succeeding in life. I love this. I'm going to agree this. This is so fun. The insurance companies compiled together a list of people's excuses when they got into automobile accidents. And I just love these. You talk about excuses. By the way, it's easier to go from failure to success than it is from excuses to success. I've never known a person who makes excuses who was ever successful. As soon as they go around if and can't and will and won't and haven't and should and as soon as they start ifing and butting, I know we're in trouble. So the insurance company, they came out, and I love this. These are explanations for automobile accidents, such as there's one. As I reached an intersection, a hedge sprang up, obscuring my view. That happens all the time, those hedges that just spring right up on you. An invisible car. An invisible car came out of nowhere, struck my car, and vanished. Those invisible cars will do it to you every time. The telephone pole was approaching fast. I hate it when those telephone poles start moving around on you. The telephone pole was approaching fast, and I attempted to swerve out of its path. And it struck my front end. I love this one. I was on my way to the doctor's with rear end trouble when my universal joint gave way, causing me to have an accident. To avoid hitting the bumper of the car in front, I struck the pedestrian. I was coming home, pulled into the wrong driveway, and hit a tree I do not have. The pedestrian had no idea which direction to run, so I ran over him. One more. I pulled away at the side of the road, glanced at my mother-in-law, and headed over the embankment. Now, if you're looking for leaders, the first thing you look for is, does this person have the ability to get the job done? That's absolutely essential to your success and my success. Number two, here's the second thing I've observed. Leaders see and seize opportunities. Leaders have the ability to see opportunity when others don't see it. And they have the initiative to seize opportunity when others stand at the side. So therefore, when I'm looking for a leader, I look for a person that can find opportunities. And I look for a person not only who can find those opportunities, but for a person who can go out and seize those opportunities. I often go shopping with my wife, Margaret. And one of the reasons I do so is because she shops very quickly. She shops more like a man. She doesn't have to go in and touch everything and feel everything and hold it and do kumbaya. And one day I said, Margaret, I don't mind shopping with you, because she walks into a store, and in 5 minutes, she's either got it or she's out. I thought, this is good. And one day I said, Margaret, how can you do this? And she told me, she said, John, you notice how some evenings at the house where I spend time looking through catalogs? I said, yeah. She said, well, what I'm doing is I'm getting a picture of what I want. And she said, when I find what I want, now she says, when I go to a store, I know what I'm looking for. I already have researched, I already checked out consumer products. And she said, when I go in, I already know what she said, I don't have to go around and look at everything. She said, I'm already focused. I know what I'm going for. And the day that she said that to me, I thought to myself, this is what a leader understands what they're looking for. A leader, here's the way this works with leaders. Leaders see things before others see things. This is a fact. They're very quick to see something. In fact, other people are still looking around in the room, and they're saying, well, don't you see it? See, potential leaders see before others see, And potential leaders, they see further than others see. They not only see it first, they see it further. They see it in its breadth, in its size, in its largeness. And so they see it first, and there's a tremendous advantage if you can see it first. So I'm looking around and I'm saying, who is always in my group of 10 people, if this is my leadership team, I'm asking myself, which one on this team is seeing it quickest? Who's seeing it first? Because that's the sign of a leader. I mean, some people, is it true, on your team, they never see it. But now, let me tell you the advantage of seeing things first. If you see it first, you can go after it first. Now, let me explain it this way. In the 100-meter dash, I just want to go on record today, tell you, that in the Olympics, if they would allow me, I could win the gold medal. I mean, look at this body. You can just tell. You can tell this body is made for speed. I could win a 100-meter race if they just allowed me to do one thing. Just one thing. If they would give me a 10-second head start. I could get this fat body. Yes, I could. If they gave me a 10-second head start, I could win the race. Not because I'm the fastest, but because I got 10 seconds head start on the fastest person in the world. You see, I don't need to have, listen, you don't need to be the fastest person in the world. You just need to be the first. And the moment that you understand that, and you begin to look around and you begin to say, who's always picking it up first? Who's catching on the quickest? Who sees it? Who's always coming to first and saying, I got an idea. Hey, let's try this. Whoever that person is, they are a potential leader. Okay, how do we find leaders? They make things happen. Secondly, they see and seize opportunities first. Number 3 is that they add value to the people around them. One of the ways that you can see a leader and pick one out is that they are making everybody around them better. So look on your team and say, who on this team is adding value the most to the other people on the team? Whoever that person is, they're the leader. Now, there are 4 kinds of people on earth. I told you earlier there were 2, the lifters and the leaners, remember? The elevator principle and the winning with people. There are really 4. There are adders, subtractors, multipliers, and dividers. Yeah, it's just old math. There are people that add to your life. They add a little value. There are people who subtract from your life. They take a little air from you. There are some people who multiply. Now that's, multiply. Hello. Now you're into leadership. They multiply value, and there are other people, they divide. I mean, they just absolutely divide you. They divide the team. Their whole goal is to divide everything. It's their spiritual gift. So I'm looking on my team. Again, I'm looking on my team, and I'm asking myself a very simple question. The question is, who on this team is adding value to others? I've just looked at them and said, okay, who's adding value to me? Who's adding value to others? And let me give you something. I very seldom give in conferences, but I think because you're an outstanding audience. You know you're above average, do you not? You understand that, don't you? I had to come all the way to Malaysia to find an above average audience. So you can look at your neighbor right now and say, you're good. Go ahead and tell them that. You're good. Tell them that. You're good. You're good. All right. Look right back at him and say, not that good. Not that good. Let me share with you what I call the 5 I's that add value. The first I is inspiration. Look on your team and ask yourself, who lifts the morale of the other players on the team? In other words, who inspires others? Who inspires me? Who lifts my morale? The second I is information. Who on the team is always giving me important information that helps me as a leader? Who's telling me things that I need to know to lead better? Who's the person that just absolutely is the one who's informed? They know, and they tell me, they tell the other team members. The third I is ideas. Who is it on the team that comes up with the best ideas? Who is it that when I throw an idea out, they're always making it better? Now, this is one of the values of teamwork. One of the things I teach is that if you really want to develop a good team, you need to develop what I call a thinking team. I have a thinking team of 8 people that are very creative, and we sit together every 3 months, and we spend a half a day just thinking about how we're going to write books and what we're going to say and what we're going to do and how we're going to solve problems. And they're great. And what I've learned is that none of us is as smart as all of us. And some of my best thinking has been done by others. And so therefore I get my thinking team around me. Now, this is the idea question, this is the third I. And so I look at my team and I ask myself, okay, who is it that when I throw an idea out at them, they give me a better idea back? Because whoever it is, they're a good thinker. They're